Have you ever noticed that some people seem to attract prosperity almost magically, while others struggle throughout their lives without ever achieving financial stability? What if I told you that these mysteries have ancient roots in secrets that powerful civilizations and societies have tried to hide from us all? For centuries, certain knowledge about wealth, abundance, and the attraction of opportunities was transmitted only to initiates, hidden in symbols, rituals, and teachings that defy modern logic. But what did these cultures know about prosperity that we've forgotten? What techniques, formulas, and practices could transform lives and financial destines? Today, we'll reveal ancient secrets they don't want you to discover, knowledge capable of opening doors to abundance, opportunity, and a fulfilling life. Prepare to immerse yourself in a world where wealth and wisdom go hand in hand, and each fragment of knowledge could be the key to completely changing your story. Since ancient times, humanity has sought ways to prosper beyond what seemed possible. Among ancient temples, manuscripts, and forgotten symbols, patterns existed that, when understood, could direct not only fortune, but also influence, opportunities, and personal growth. Numbers, sequences, and geometric shapes were used as energy codes, capable of attracting prosperity in an almost invisible way. It wasn't magic, but a deep understanding of how the universe responds to aligned intentions and structured thoughts. Those who mastered these patterns had access to opportunities that seemed to arise out of nowhere, businesses that flourished rapidly, and a stability that seemed impossible to achieve through common effort. This knowledge was carefully guarded, transmitted only to those deemed capable of understanding its depth. Ancient documents show that certain civilizations built cities, temples, and trade routes based on these principles, ensuring that wealth and abundance were concentrated in specific locations, influencing not only individuals, but entire societies. The energy flowing through these patterns was perceived by initiates, enabling strategic decisions, sound investments, and even predictions about opportune moments to act. Most impressively, many of these principles can still be applied today. Although some of the knowledge has been lost or reinterpreted, some symbols, rituals, and practices remain accessible. People who study sacred geometry, the power of numbers, or ancient visualization techniques see real results, consistently increasing their opportunities for prosperity. It's as if the universe responds to those who understand its hidden laws, offering paths that seem invisible to those who don't know the codes, but it's not just about making money. Ancient prosperity involved balance, body, mind, and spirit aligned with the natural flow of abundance. Ancient merchants, kings, and sages knew that wealth without awareness was fragile. Therefore, all financial power was accompanied by responsibility and planning. By following these principles, anyone today can create an environment conducive to opportunity, multiply resources, and develop skills that attract abundance. Recognizing these patterns is the first step. When someone begins to interpret the signs of the universe, align their intentions, and act according to principles proven over centuries, prosperity ceases to be a coincidence and becomes a natural consequence of conscious choices. It's a journey of discovery that teaches us that wealth isn't just effort, but a deep understanding of invisible forces that have always been around us. Beyond numbers and patterns, many of the ancient secrets of prosperity were deeply tied to the knowledge of civilizations that have disappeared from official history. These cultures seem to understand laws most people don't even suspect exist, cosmic alignments, natural cycles, and the relationship between energy and resources. They strategically built cities, temples, and trade routes, harnessing forces that today would be considered mysterious or metaphysical. For them, prosperity wasn't just about accumulating wealth. It was about creating the conditions that made abundance, opportunity, and growth inevitable. Every decision, every choice of location, every calendar and alignment had a purpose: to attract the correct flow of energy and ensure that everything prospered. These civilizations also cultivated thought habits that strengthened their connection with the universe. Meditation, visualization, and mindfulness were not only spiritual practices, but also tools for observing patterns of opportunity and acting at the right time. They understood that true prosperity required synchronization of mind, action, and energy. Many of these teachings were transmitted orally or hidden in encrypted manuscripts so that only those prepared could apply them. Today, we can still learn from these practices, realizing that wealth and abundance are as much a matter of perspective as strategic action. The power of ancient secret societies is also linked to this understanding. Small groups held knowledge about trade, investment, and resource distribution that ensured some prospered while others remained limited. They studied behavioral patterns, economic cycles, and human relationships, using this information to create predictable opportunities for success. By deciphering the remains of these teachings, anyone can realize that prosperity is not the result of chance, but of knowledge applied with precision and patience. Another important aspect was the relationship between ethics and abundance. For these cultures, wealth without balance was unstable. People knew that lasting prosperity depended on responsibility, generosity, and planning. Ancient rituals included practices to clear energy, express gratitude for what one had, and prepare the ground for new opportunities. Through these methods, any action taken had a direct impact on the flow of prosperity in the life of the person taking it. Today, applying these principles, we can see that opportunities often arise when we align intention and action. Small signs in everyday life, seemingly random coincidences, and intuitive insights can be understood as signals from the universe directing us toward choices that multiply resources and generate sustainable growth. Prosperity, then, ceases to be merely the result of physical or financial effort and becomes the consequence of a deep understanding of the forces that have always acted in our world. Another ancient secret linked to prosperity lies in practices that balanced mind, body, and spirit to attract abundance. The ancients realized that true wealth is not limited to accumulating resources, but involves energy, intention, and consciousness. Every action, thought, and decision created a direct effect on reality, and those who understood this principle were able to generate opportunities for growth in virtually any circumstance. Wealth was not seen as something external, but as a reflection of internal alignment and the ability to perceive and harness subtle signals from the universe. This knowledge was transmitted through rituals, symbolic teachings, and secret codes, often preserved in temples, pyramids, and ancient manuscripts. These weren't just instructions about money, but about how to harmonize personal energy with natural and cosmic cycles, making every strategic move and choice conducive to prosperity. Those who studied these practices learned to recognize the right moments to act, decisions that multiplied results, and paths that led to success naturally, almost as if life conspired in favor of those who followed these laws. Secret societies also understood that abundance depended on perception and awareness. They studied human behavior, social and economic patterns, anticipating movements and creating ideal conditions for wealth to manifest. Every detail, from the choice of business partners to the placement of certain objects in temples or homes, had a purpose. Everything functioned as an invisible network of signals and alignments prepared to favor those who paid attention. By understanding these principles, anyone today can apply techniques of visualization, alignment, and conscious action to generate similar results, perceiving opportunities that most simply overlook. Furthermore, the ancients deeply valued gratitude and generosity as tools of prosperity. For them, selfishly withheld wealth weakened the flow of abundance, while offering, sharing, and honoring what one had strengthened the path to even greater prosperity. Every ritual of thanksgiving, every symbolic offering, and every act of generosity served as mechanisms for expanding the energy of wealth. It was as if the universe responded concretely to the harmony between intention, action, and consciousness. Today, by studying these secrets, we realize that prosperity is as much a matter of strategic action as it is of internal alignment. When we understand the importance of each decision, each choice made in the moment, and each ethical behavior, we can generate consistent and lasting results. The ancient secret they hid is simple yet powerful. True wealth comes from the combination of knowledge, perception, energetic alignment, and responsibility. By following this path, anyone can profoundly and continuously transform their financial life, becoming not only rich in resources, but also abundant in opportunities, vision, and wisdom. Another secret the ancients preserved about prosperity is linked to how they understood and utilized the energy of their environment. For these civilizations, wealth and abundance arose not only from work or individual skills, but from the balance between human beings and the space in which they lived. Temples, palaces, and even homes were designed to channel positive energies, encourage correct decisions, and create favorable conditions for opportunities to manifest. Every angle, Every alignment with the sun or stars, every flow of water, or placement of objects had a specific purpose to attract prosperity and maintain constant abundance. This understanding goes far deeper than any modern decor or common architectural planning. The ancients knew that certain frequencies and energy patterns could influence thoughts, relationships, and financial decisions. By harmonizing the environment with natural principles, they created conditions in which businesses thrived, resources multiplied, and opportunities arose at the right time. Today, practices inspired by this knowledge, such as feng shui, demonstrate how small changes in space and organization can significantly impact abundance and productivity. Furthermore, the ancients recognized that prosperity required strategic vision. It wasn't just about attracting momentary wealth, but about creating sustainable cycles of growth. They observed market patterns, human behavior, and even natural phenomena, aligning their actions to capitalize on every opportunity. Each move was calculated and, at the same time, connected to a greater flow of universal energy, which ensured that their efforts resulted in lasting prosperity. This balance between planning, perception, and energetic flow was what separated those who accumulated genuine wealth from those who merely experienced fleeting fortune. Another fundamental point was the relationship between abundance and generosity. The ancients taught that sharing resources does not diminish wealth. On the contrary, it strengthens the flow of prosperity. Rituals, offerings, and practices of gratitude created a direct connection with the universe, reinforcing the attraction of opportunities and ensuring that abundance returned multiplied. This logic, though often forgotten in modern times, shows that prosperity is not only the result of effort, but also of harmonious interaction with the surrounding energy. Understanding and applying these principles today means realizing that every decision, every action, and every environmental choice can directly influence the flow of wealth and opportunities in your life. True prosperity doesn't happen by chance, it's a natural consequence of conscious alignment, strategic perception, and respect for the universal laws that govern abundance. By following these ancient paths, anyone can transform not only their financial situation, but also the way they experience opportunities, energy, and personal growth, becoming a true master of prosperity. Another ancient secret that directly influences prosperity lies in understanding time and natural cycles. Ancient civilizations carefully studied each season, each phase of the moon, and each planetary movement, knowing that these cycles had a direct impact on harvests, trade, and strategic decisions. They realized that acting at the right time could multiply opportunities and generate abundance far more efficiently than any isolated effort. This perception of synchronicity was applied to business, investments, and even personal relationships, creating ideal conditions for prosperity to manifest. Furthermore, the ancients understood that prosperity was not merely material, but a balance between financial growth, wisdom, and personal energy. Every action taken needed to be aligned, not only with the desire for wealth, but also with ethical and strategic principles, ensuring that the fruits of this abundance were sustainable. They knew that impulsive or poorly planned decisions might bring momentary gains, but would never create lasting wealth. Therefore, they observed patterns, recorded data, and transmitted knowledge in a codified form, ensuring that those prepared to understand natural cycles could reap consistent results. The concept of synchronicity was also reflected in visualization and intention practices. The ancients believed that directing the mind clearly and consciously, in harmony with the natural flow of the universe, amplified results and attracted prosperity. Every thought, every strategic plan, or meditation served as a preparation for opportunities to arise at the right time. Today, focus, meditation, and planning techniques inspired by these principles demonstrate that wealth is not just the result of physical effort, but of the ability to align intention, action, and time. Another fundamental point was paying attention to the signs of the universe. Coincidences, intuitions, and unexpected opportunities were interpreted as guides for important decisions. Ignoring these signs meant missing valuable opportunities for growth. Recognizing them and acting in tune with them allowed us to multiply resources and build a trajectory of consistent prosperity. This approach demonstrates that true wealth depends not solely on strength or skill, but on the ability to perceive and interpret the subtle patterns that govern life and the flow of abundance. Finally, the ancients taught that patience and persistence were inseparable from prosperity. Those who waited for the right moment, aligned intention and action, and respected natural cycles ensured that wealth would be consolidated in a lasting way. This principle shows that prosperity is not the result of luck, but of knowledge applied wisely, energetic alignment, and strategic perception. By applying these lessons today, anyone can transform their financial path, perceive previously invisible opportunities, and create a steady flow of abundance that goes far beyond the simple accumulation of resources. Another ancient secret essential to prosperity involves understanding and harnessing personal energy. The ancients knew that the human mind and life force were not just spiritual concepts, but powerful tools capable of attracting opportunities and generating abundance. Every thought, emotion, and intention could influence material outcomes, shaping situations and paving the way for financial growth. Therefore, they dedicated time to concentration, meditation, and visualization techniques that allowed them to harmoniously align desires, actions, and universal energy. This knowledge was transmitted in a codified form, often through symbols, rituals, and teachings that could only be understood by those prepared to grasp the depth of knowledge. By applying these principles, the ancients created a kind of field of prosperity around them, attracting resources, allies, and opportunities. This ability to influence outcomes depended not on physical effort or initial wealth, but on inner mastery, strategic perception, and alignment with the natural laws that govern abundance. Understanding mental power also reflected in risk and opportunity management. Those who mastered these techniques were able to perceive invisible patterns, identify opportune moments, and act calculatedly, transforming seemingly random situations into concrete advantages. This included everything from business decisions to strategic relationships, demonstrating that prosperity is as much about perception as action. Every choice made in harmony with personal energy exponentially increased the chances of success. Furthermore, the ancients valued mental discipline and clarity of purpose as pillars of lasting wealth. They knew that confused intentions or scattered thoughts could lead to unstable or negative results. Therefore, developing focus, cultivating positive thoughts, and maintaining clear goals were essential practices for creating a steady flow of prosperity. This logic remains valid today, as modern neuroscience and psychology studies show that intention, visualization, and focus truly impact financial decisions and outcomes. Another fundamental point was the balance between action and introspection. Prosperity was not built solely by action, but also by reflecting, analyzing, and learning from each experience. The ancients taught that observing one's own behavior, recognizing opportunities, and consciously adjusting strategies was as important as physically working to accumulate resources. This balance allowed wealth to become sustainable, solid, and multipliable, rather than fleeting or unstable. By understanding and applying these techniques today, anyone can transform their relationship with prosperity. It's not just about making more money, but about creating a field of opportunity, perception, and influence that allows you to generate abundance in all areas of life. Mastering this personal energy is, in fact, one of the most powerful secrets they didn't want humanity to discover. Another ancient secret essential to prosperity is linked to understanding the cycles of nature and adapting to them. The ancients realized that nothing in life is static. Everything follows repeating patterns and rhythms, whether in the seasons, human behavior, or opportunities for growth. Those who learned to observe and interpret these cycles were able to align their actions to multiply resources, avoid waste, and anticipate favorable moments. This perception didn't depend on luck, but on attention, study, and constant practice. Ancient civilizations planned harvests, trade, and even investments based on these cycles, knowing that acting at the right time multiplied abundance and ensured lasting prosperity. They also taught that ignoring natural patterns could result in loss, frustration, and stagnation. Therefore, true prosperity was directly linked to the ability to synchronize intentions, decisions, and actions with the natural flow of life. This alignment not only increased wealth, but also created stability and security in all aspects of existence. The secret of cycles also involved perceiving invisible opportunities. The ancients taught that subtle signals, weather changes, people's behavior, market movements, or even seemingly random events were clues about when to act or retreat. Observing and interpreting these signals allowed us to anticipate events and transform ordinary situations into unique opportunities for growth. Today, Those who apply this logic realize that opportunities arise in patterns, and that being attentive to them can yield results far beyond what luck or isolated effort could offer. Furthermore, respecting cycles involved patience and discipline. Prosperity wasn't the result of impulses or hasty actions, it was the result of strategy and timing. Thus, the ancients taught that understanding and respecting the natural rhythm of life allowed one to build solid and multipliable wealth. This approach shows that prosperity is not just a financial goal, but a state of consciousness and alignment with the universal laws that govern abundance. Another essential factor was the ability to adapt. Those who understood cycles not only planned, but also adapted to inevitable changes, transforming obstacles into opportunities. This flexibility, combined with strategic knowledge and perception of the signs of the universe, ensured that prosperity remained constant, even in the face of challenges and unforeseen events. By applying these principles today, anyone can learn to read the natural flow of life, identify hidden opportunities, and act intelligently, strategically, and in alignment. True prosperity is not the result of luck, but of deep knowledge, attention to signs, alignment with cycles, and conscious action. This is another secret that the ancients kept hidden for centuries and which can still transform lives when understood and applied practically and consistently. Another ancient secret deeply linked to prosperity involves understanding and utilizing human relationships. The ancients knew that wealth and abundance were rarely achieved in isolation. They depended on strategic alliances, cooperation, and the exchange of energy between people. Each relationship was seen as a channel that could generate opportunities, resources, and mutual growth. Knowing how to identify reliable allies, mentors, and partners was part of the wisdom that transformed small efforts into great results. This knowledge was transmitted subtly, through codes, rituals, and traditions, but the principle was clear. Sustainable prosperity depends on understanding human networks and the ability to connect strategically. Those who mastered this art not only attracted resources, but also perceived opportunities for collaboration, business partnerships, and emotional support that multiplied their ability to generate wealth. This insight allowed them to build empires, conduct advantageous negotiations, and maintain financial stability even in difficult times. Understanding human relationships also included empathy and the ability to positively influence others. The ancients realized that leading with wisdom, acting with integrity, and cultivating respect generated trust and openness, creating an environment conducive to opportunity. This approach allowed resources, ideas, and opportunities for prosperity to flow naturally, reinforcing the importance of cultivating a solid network of contacts aligned with ethical and strategic values. Another crucial point was the balance between giving and receiving. For them, prosperity was not accumulated at the expense of others, but shared in a way that strengthened the flow of abundance for all involved. Rituals, symbolic offerings, and practices of generosity were ways to reinforce this principle, creating positive energy that attracted new opportunities and consolidated lasting financial results. Today, these concepts show that true success depends not only on individual skills, but on the ability to interact, influence, and create networks of mutual value. Furthermore, the ancients taught that strategic alliances should be based on knowledge, perception, and timing. Each partnership, contract, or negotiation was carefully planned, observing behavioral patterns and hidden opportunities. Ignoring these signals could result in losses or stagnation, while recognizing them and acting wisely multiplied resources and opportunities. Applying these principles today, anyone can realize that prosperity is not just a matter of effort or luck, but of social and strategic intelligence. Building conscious relationships, identifying opportunities within human networks, and acting ethically and in alignment with energy flows is undoubtedly one of the most powerful secrets the ancients kept hidden, capable of transforming lives and generating consistent abundance in all areas. Another ancient secret that profoundly impacts prosperity lies in the ability to transform challenges into opportunities. Civilizations that mastered the knowledge of abundance knew that difficulties were not obstacles, but signs and tests that could reveal paths to growth and wealth. Every crisis, loss, or setback was interpreted as an opportunity to learn, adjust strategy, and expand resources. This understanding allowed people and societies to strengthen themselves in the face of adversity, making prosperity sustainable and lasting. The ancients taught that the true secret lay in perception, recognizing hidden patterns, interpreting signals, and acting intelligently in challenging situations. This skill wasn't limited to finances, it encompassed all areas of life, from relationships to strategic decisions and personal choices. Those who learned to apply this principle were able to multiply opportunities, discover innovative solutions, and transform seemingly unfavorable moments into springboards for growth and abundance. Strategic resilience was a daily practice. Ancient people recorded failures, studied mistakes, and transformed each experience into practical learning. This systematic approach allowed future decisions to be more accurate and allowed prosperity to be consolidated, not simply as a result of luck, but as a direct consequence of intelligence, perception, and discipline. Today, we can apply the same concept when analyzing career, investment, or business opportunities, understanding that every difficulty carries within it a secret path to expanding resources and influence. Furthermore, these teachings included a balance between action and patience. Prosperity did not arise from impulses or rash decisions, but from the continuous adjustment of observation, interpretation of signs, and strategic action. Ancient wisdom showed that those who can wait for the right moment while simultaneously preparing to act are capable of transforming seemingly unfavorable situations into concrete successes. Another important point is understanding the value of knowledge. Learning, studying, and interpreting ancient patterns allowed us to anticipate events and seize opportunities before others noticed. This approach shows that prosperity is directly linked to applied intelligence, strategic vision, and the ability to act at the right time, even when faced with challenges. Today, by applying this principle, anyone can realize that obstacles are not barriers, but instruments of growth. Every difficulty, when understood and leveraged correctly, can open paths to multiplying wealth, expanding influence, and creating opportunities that remain sustainable in the long term. This ability to transform challenges into prosperity is one of the most powerful secrets the ancients kept hidden, and it can still transform lives when understood and applied practically and strategically. The last ancient secret linked to prosperity involves mastering intention and manifestation. The ancients knew that the universe responded to patterns of energy and vibration, and that what a person carried internally was reflected in the external world. Every thought, desire, and mental focus functioned as a seed that could generate wealth, opportunities, and abundance. But for this to work, it was necessary to understand that intention and action must be aligned. Thinking alone is not enough, and acting without awareness also does not generate lasting results. This knowledge was transmitted through symbols, rituals, and codified teachings, demonstrating that true prosperity was not the result of luck or chance, but rather the ability to direct energy and attention toward what one wanted to achieve. The ancients used practices of visualization, meditation, and gratitude, creating a field of attraction that strengthened opportunities, multiplied resources, and opened doors that seemed invisible to most people. Every gesture, word, or conscious choice increased the potential to consistently manifest wealth. Another essential point was the balance between trust and action. The ancients taught that one must believe in the possibility of abundance, but also commit to concrete actions that transform this intention into reality. Without discipline, focus, and persistence, even the most powerful energy fails to produce tangible results. Therefore, they combined strategic preparation, mental alignment, and careful observation of environmental cues to ensure that each step taken had a positive impact on the flow of prosperity. Furthermore, the practice of gratitude played a crucial role in this process. Recognizing and appreciating what one had strengthened the energy of abundance, creating a virtuous cycle of opportunity and growth. Rituals of gratitude, even symbolic ones, were ways to align the mind, body, and spirit with the frequency of prosperity, making the flow of wealth constant and predictable. This principle shows that prosperity is not simply about accumulating resources, but about creating an internal and external state of harmony and openness to abundance. Finally, the ancients understood that manifesting prosperity depended on the ability to act in tune with the universe, respecting cycles, signs, and opportunities. Each conscious decision, each strategic step, and each clear intention transformed the environment, paving the way for positive results. Today, Applying these principles means realizing that wealth, abundance, and opportunities are not mere coincidences, but consequences of applied knowledge, energetic alignment, and intelligent action. Mastering this practice is, indeed, one of the most powerful secrets the ancients kept hidden. When understood and applied correctly, it allows one to transform thoughts and intentions into concrete results, creating a steady flow of prosperity that goes far beyond the simple accumulation of wealth, impacting all areas of life in profound and lasting ways. Now that you've learned just a fraction of these ancient secrets, it's impossible not to realize that true prosperity goes far beyond physical effort or luck. Every practice, every symbol, and every teaching that has spanned centuries shows that abundance and wealth are the result of applied knowledge, inner alignment, and strategic insight. Those who learned to apply these principles transformed their lives and built legacies that defy time, while much of humanity remained oblivious, cut off from the opportunities that were within their reach. The most fascinating thing is that this knowledge is still accessible. Every conscious decision, every moment of attention to the signs of the universe, and every practice aligned with these ancient principles can transform your financial and personal reality. Prosperity, in fact, is a natural consequence of observing, learning, acting, and harmonizing intentions with strategic actions. It's an invisible field that you can learn to master, multiplying resources, opportunities, and growth in all areas of life. If you want to continue this journey, discover more hidden secrets, and learn how to apply these practices to transform your life, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell. This way, you won't miss any revelations that could change your life. And don't forget to leave a comment. Which of these ancient secrets do you feel you need to apply first to attract prosperity? Your curiosity could be the first step to unlocking a flow of wealth and opportunities you never imagined existed. The world is full of mysteries waiting to be discovered. The question is, will you just watch, or will you be one of the few who truly transform ancient knowledge into real, lasting prosperity?